You're listening to The Next 15, a podcast show for the binge listener covering random topics such as relationships, current news, and everyday life issues. My name is Trey North, and for the next few minutes, I hope to make you laugh, educate, and inspire you. Welcome to the Next 15 podcast show. It's Friday, 7 o'clock, and you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Next 15 podcast show. I'm Trey North, your host for tonight, but I'd be remiss if I did not introduce my co-host, Chris McAllister.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is so good to be back in the saddle once again.
Absolutely, man. After a week vacation, I feel like it's brand new sitting up in here now, man.
Right. I know.
Oh, man, we got a great show lined up for you. But first, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I can't see anybody. Hey, Andrea, there you go. Andrea Clark, how are you doing? You guys let us know. We've been on some new equipment, so if the sound's not coming in right, let us know tonight. I'm not trying to rhyme, but anyway.
Right. DJ Dougie Fresh in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
And listen, we had a great time on our last show with Pastor Monica Rivers. It was Let's Talk About Relationships from a Biblical Perspective. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, we had a great time. What do you think about that, man?
Yeah, man, I think it was a really, really good time, man. I think we got a lot of good feedback also. You know, I think people really like to talk about relationships,
they
man.
They do, man, and that's why I talk about them a lot.
Touche, my friend.
Want to give a shout out to Juan Alaman from the 80s Hour and the Wrestling Way Back podcast on Spreaker.com. But yeah, man, we had a great show. If you want to tune in to the not last week but the week before last week's show with Pastor Monica Rivers of ECOD Ministries, go to next15podcast.com.
Yes.
You can also follow us at Next 15 Podcast on Facebook and Instagram platforms. But tonight we're not talking about relationships, sort of, kind of, I guess.
Maybe. I don't
Tonight
know.
We're talking about conflict in comedy.
Yes, sir.
That's right, conflict. And let's just go ahead, man, and let's dive in, bro.
Yeah, man.
Let's dive in. We're going to be talking about like our top 5 comedians and their counterparts. We're going to be talking about why conflict exists in comedy.
Yeah.
Some of the comedian beefs or rivalries,
right.
And much, much more. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And let's jump on how we even got into this topic. Like, how did this become a topic of discussion for the Next 15, man? I'm just going to bring up, man, me and Trevor was talking has been a couple of weeks now ago, or maybe a week or two ago.
Yeah,
And we got into this deep discussion in regards to just comedy. I would look at us as comedy heads, if you will. You know,
Yeah.
I love anything that's funny. I sometimes I think I'm a funny guy. Maybe sometimes. No, not really.
I think
okay.
you are.
Yeah, you know. So anybody who knows my family, we love comedy shows, movies, stand-ups, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Because we just love to laugh. But then as we begin to talk, you know, we begin to dig into, you know, kind of the conflict in comedy, and that's kind of where the name came from. Because if you ever notice, when there's a really good comic out there, there's always another person there to bring them down. And I mean, that kind of goes for anything, right?
Yeah, you're going to have haters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to have, especially when you're good at what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're better than them.
Yeah.
Or you make more money than them.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I think that's what it is. You might not be better than them, but you make more money than them, and they can't stand it. You know what? I think we just answered the question of why is there conflict.
Why there's conflict.
Well, guys, have a great night. We had a great show.
Next 15 podcast.
Yeah, man. But
oh, man. Yeah, man. I would say jealousy.
Yeah.
But there's other reasons why there's conflict too, man.
Okay.
And diving off in that, some comedians steal other comedians' jokes.
That is true. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yes,
you are absolutely right, bro.
There have been many rivalries that were surrounded or involved in comedians other comedians stealing other jokes.
Really, I know that, but I didn't even think about that, and you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
There are a lot of comedians that steal or they finagle each other's jokes, if you will, and so have you been a witness of that?
Oh God, I'm trying to think of a moment when I witnessed it, but I can't remember. But I do remember the beef between Joe Rogan and Carlos Mencia.
Yeah,
and it was basically those, and they genuinely hate each other, bro. They literally, I mean, because one time Carlos was doing a stand-up and Joe Rogan interrupted it and busted him right out on stage, man.
What?
Yes, bro. He busted him right on stage while he was doing a routine.
Oh, wow.
And you can go to I YouTube it, man, and it was like, whew.
You know what kind of hatred you have to take the time out of your day to go and interrupt somebody else's money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a pure hatred like none other.
But listen, but the thing is that Joe Rogan was arguing the fact that Carlos was stealing up-and-coming comedians. Like some of the people that the new talent that was coming in. And using their jokes, would be in the back listening to them and come out and do their jokes, man.
Really?
And so Joe didn't have no respect, which I wouldn't have no respect for that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's Robin Williams. Joe Rogan even rest his soul, the late Robin Williams, who admittedly stole some jokes, and not doing it and had paid for them.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that could be one a good reason why there's conflict in comedy.
Yeah, man. But here's the thing: do you feel like jokes are being stole when it's just something that's natural? Like, so what is a stolen joke, if you will?
Ooh, that's good.
Like because if I've experienced kind of close the same thing to what you've experienced, and I tell it from my perspective, is that now me stealing the joke that you told, or is that just me talking about the experience that I had, like you talked about the experience that you had?
Okay, I think you answered the question. I think it's because we understand that a good joke has the good punchline, and it's how you say it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In the terms that you say it.
Okay.
For me, particularly if a comedian's already did that I probably wouldn't even touch it just so that they couldn't say that I stole their joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the difference might be because a lot of comedians talk about their kids.
Right. A lot of comedians talk about kids, sex. They talk about relationships, stuff like that. So, like,
but you can't tell the same joke though. I mean, I understand if you had an experience. The same experience.
But most men comedians, especially African Americans, come in, especially if they're new to the scene. The first thing they're gonna punch at is ladies. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm dating this crazy lady, and whoop de whoop and waddy waddy.
Okay, that's cool. That's the subject, the crazy lady.
Right.
But now, are you gonna tell the same joke that the other comedian just told last week that you heard, or?
I mean, is it going to get laughs? Because, but it is.
That's why there's conflict in comedy, sir.
If I'm getting paid, then I'm going to do it. No, I'm just joking, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. That's
cool.
funny. But, yeah, man. So, okay, good. So, we know that stealing the joke is wrong. Yeah. But, again, I just feel like you can say the same joke so many different ways, or should be able to say.
Okay.
I think that's what makes the greats, is that they can recycle an old joke and make it new. It's the same joke.
Okay, I get that. I have respect for that. Let's go to the chat room and see what they're saying. Hey, Adrian Carter, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And Jacqueline Hammett. Yeah, what they're talking about in the chat room.
So it looks like, we had one. He says sometimes people change the name in the story, but they try to make the story theirs. And you're absolutely right, Juan. But, there are some people who aren't good at that either. You know what I mean? It's like if they learn the joke, they have to tell the joke the way they learned the joke. You know what I mean? But I look at it this way. I feel like most jokes are already just refurbished stuff from the older guys who's been doing it for years.
Do you think it's because nothing's new under the sun?
Absolutely.
So to speak, experiences when I say that?
Absolutely. I truly believe, if you listen to the Red Fox, the Richard Pryors, the Eddie Murphys, the older generation of the world's and then listen to comics now, they're saying the same thing, you know. So technically it's the same joke, but you said something different. You said they say it in a different way. There fairly aren't the individuals that have new material. Like you come out and talk about the same thing for the most part. You have those guys who are very intelligent that can come out and talk about something totally different that you've never heard in a comedy set. And again, that's what makes the greats. And like Richard Pryor was the first person I heard talk about, you know, a car talking to him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you don't hear nobody. And still to this day, you don't hear nobody talking about a car.
I challenge you.
Okay.
Well, not today. You're right, not today. But I remember Eddie Murphy did something with a car.
Yeah, he did it. But remember,
talking car. But Richard Pryor did it first.
Richard Pryor did it first about when he was going through a divorce with his then wife, and he was drunk, and he went outside and he shot the car, and the car started talking to him. That type of stuff.
I got you.
And so, but you know, and then you have comedians even prior to that era that we don't have tape on, that you have jokes that were handed down or heard from Red Fox or heard from Richard Pryor that we don't have the opportunity to hear because they didn't have certain quote unquote tapes or and all that good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, like I think that most jokes are handed down at some point anyway.
Okay. And they're just broken down and told in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that could be one. But, you know, again, I mean, the way Joe, in that instance or in that situation, Joe Rogan, Carlos was pretty much stealing.
Yeah, he was
verbatim.
Word for word.
So that's to me, that's one conflict. One other conflict is just simply you're hating on someone.
Right.
And I want to get on that. One of the biggest feuds, because this comedian who I'm about to name has almost seems like he has a problem with everyone in Hollywood that has made it.
Okay.
And has done something big or is doing something big. When I believe that he had the opportunity, but he slept on it.
Okay.
And that's Cat Williams.
I will give you that, sir. I will give you that.
I mean, he's hated on from everyone from Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
To Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Jeez, who hasn't he hated on?
He made it a rivalry. Like everything was a rivalry instead of us, all of us collectively. You know, making this money together, it was always he always felt like I'm funnier than you.
Right.
Which I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a fan of Cat Williams.
Me too.
And he is very funny, but
Absolutely.
he is very like he's one stream. Like in that one stream, like he would work in a black club, African American comedy club, or Hispanic comedy club. He'll kill the room. I don't think that he can go into a white collar. I don't.
So you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I don't think he can go into a white collar comedy club and be as funny. Could he be funny? Yes. Could he change his jokes up? Yes. He's a smart individual. But will he be able to hit like he does in where I guess he's more comfortable? I don't think so.
So you think maybe in for lack of better words, I guess, more of the black hood comedy. You think maybe because of his problems with the police and been in the tabloids and the limelight. You think so? He appeals to one type of audience.
Yes.
Whereas let's just take Kevin Hart.
Right, is a more diverse, and some people call it corny. I call it genius is what I call it. I call it being able to go to anywhere. He like you see some of the tours that Kevin Hart has done around the world, not just the nation, but around the world. He's in Germany. He's in India.
That's true.
And so the comedy that he has resonates with everybody, human being.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows what relationships with children. I mean, if you are married with children, if you've been through a divorce, if you know what I mean, like trying to get better at your career, like that's the things he talks about and he makes funny, and everybody can kind of find their personality or their issue in that joke at some point.
But to be fair, also Cat Williams, he has some funny stuff too on his level.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of his persona, how the audience will view you based on your private life that's being on public display. You know, Cat Williams is always into a situation. He's always into trouble, and that gives him a bad taste in some people's mouth.
Yeah.
And versus not saying Kevin Hart is clean, but you don't hear about Kevin Hart in jail.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, he had his own problems
Correct.
with infidelity or whatever.
Right.
But I'm saying
But
his whole demeanor is different.
Right.
Now, what I understand from because he also hit Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart was like, hey, and I think you were telling me this about Cat Williams was supposed to be the man of Hollywood. He was supposed to be the Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
But he slept on it.
He slept on it.
I tell you what, let's talk about that. Let's go to a quick commercial, and we'll talk about that, and we'll also get into our top 5 comedians when we come back right here on the next 15. Hey, it's Trey North, and I want to personally thank you for tuning in to tonight's episode. If you're enjoying the podcast, please share this with your friends right now so they can tune in and enjoy the same programming as you are. Tell them to go to www.spreaker.com and search the Next 15 and join our live podcast so they can interact with all of the listeners, including me and my co-host Chris McAllister. Don't forget to check out our brand new and redesigned website at next15podcast.com, where you can find our current and past episodes and even listen to the live show right from your browser. You can also find inspirational blogs written by my mom, Stella B. North. But that's not all. We've just added a review and comment section where you can provide feedback and suggestions about the show. Again, thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Hey there, this is Juan Alaman, host of the 80s Hour and also the Wrestling Wayback Podcast, both on Spreaker.com. So if you found the Next 15 podcast with Trey North, then you can find me. And also check out my new movie, Chased. It's on Vudu, Fandango, Amazon, Comcast. Wherever you find your favorite movies digitally, you can find Chased. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.
You're listening to the Next 15 podcast show with Trey North right here on Spreaker.com. And we're back on the Next 15 podcast show. For those who are just coming in, we thank you so much for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, welcome back to Club Next 15. Oh, man, this music is nice, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we're talking about conflicts in comedy, and we took a commercial break as we were getting into the Cat Williams. We're talking about the beef that Cat Williams has with nearly everybody, it seems like. So we left off there.
Yeah, and so I think that Cat Williams is a great comedian. Don't get me wrong. But you know what? I want to jump into something real quick as I was reading over the comments.
Okay.
Juan said something that was, I think, very intriguing. He says Cat Williams, in his opinion, is a character actor. Okay. And that kind of plays back to the minute. I didn't know anything about a Cat Williams until I seen him in Friday After Next, and he was playing a pimp. And I think kind of how that started out as a how can I put it? I'm trying to think of the right words, but he started out as a pimp. Like,
so does that place that a stigmatism on his whole routine? Because
it could have,
because sometimes you see, because most times when you see like Steve Harvey's or the Seds, they came from the stand up to the acting scene, versus Cat did it or maybe he didn't do it in reverse, but I'm saying we didn't know who he was until
because Cat Williams had a whole stand up there in Vegas prior to that's what got him the role of the character on Friday After Next. So he was doing stand up for 15 years before nobody ever kind of knew who he was outside of the places that he had been. But he got that national fame from Friday. And I look at, let's go back to Kevin Hart versus Cat Williams. I look at the first time you see Cat Williams, he's a pimp. The first time I heard of a Kevin Hart, he owned a plane.
So plane.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, it's just a different, like he, even though he got something happened. I don't remember the plot of the movie, but all I remember is that
his dog got hit or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Dog got killed on the plane or something.
He sued him, and now he owns his own airplane line. You know what I mean? And so I look at stuff like that, and it just that initial look, and and the way he plays. I look at every character that Cat Williams has played has been that high. Ladies and gentlemen,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, like he's always been that. Now that typecast. But there is one. He was in this episode. I think he won an Emmy, not an Emmy, but something award where he was on this TV show.
He was. He was on a couple. He was on My Wife and Kids. He played Bobby Shaw.
Bobby Shaw. The breakdancer.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he played on. What else did he play on?
But it was one show. Help me in the chat if y'all guys know what I'm talking about, because I cannot think. He plays in a show where he wins an award. Like I'm talking about in real life, he wins a real life award for his acting, and I want to say it's in the movie with the guy who sings the song "This Is America."
He was on the Tracy Morgan show. He was on Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
Wild and Out. I'm just looking this up.
Yeah.
He was on.
It's more recent.
He's been on.
It's more recent.
NYPD Blue.
No. It's like
a TV show.
Yeah, it's a comedian. I mean, not comedian show, but it's a.
I don't know about that, bro.
For his role, thank you, Juan, for his role in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he won an Emmy. That's it. See, I knew it. Thank you, Juan. Man, Juan be on it.
Movie buff,
right? So he won an Emmy, and he did. He's a great. To me, he's a better actor.
Cat Williams is
to me
than a comedian, really?
Than Kevin Hart.
Oh, than Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I think he's a better. Now, don't get me wrong. Kevin Hart is a great actor. He does great in movies. But I think when that showed me the diverse acting skills that Cat Williams had in Atlanta. If you never had the opportunity to go and watch him do a little bit of drama, yeah, he's convincing.
Okay, so let's bring it back into the conflict part then.
Okay.
Then why the need to hate? Why would a comedian need to hate on another comedian?
Because you're watching somebody do what you were meant to do.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. According to Kevin Hart, he did on the Charlemagne show. I think it was. I can't think of the name of the show. Breakfast Club, yeah. Him and Tiffany. He said that Cat wasn't showing up. First of all, Cat wasn't coming to work on time. He said, you don't play with these people. When they deem, when they want you, they want you. But if you are a problem, then we'll find somebody else. You're replaceable.
If you're a problem to the studios, then absolutely. You're an insurance risk.
They kind of got blackballed. You know what I mean? A little bit. I mean, and of course, he just jumped all over Tiffany Haddish, which I'm not gonna lie, ladies, for those who are listening, I'm not a big fan of Tiffany Haddish when it comes to comedy. I think she's better in the acting sector, than stand-up comedian.
Right.
But I mean, man, you had Cat even hating on Steve Harvey.
Right. Yeah. He made the whole Steve Harvey thing years ago. He made the whole Steve Harvey and Cat Williams bout. And here's the thing,
New Year's Eve, I believe.
Steve Harvey is on his way to be a billionaire.
He don't have time.
He doesn't care. Do you think Steve Harvey cared that, quote unquote, he lost this comedic battle? Because guess what he did the next morning? He went back on his radio show. He went right back to hosting the Steve Harvey show.
And they said that he later responded on the show with 5 minutes of griping that you can sum it up with kids these days.
Pretty much.
I mean, and I get that. Okay. What Juan said, it didn't help that he was out there fighting with kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's true, Juan. Cat Williams got whooped,
knocked out by this 13-year-old
because of his drug use. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to make this all about Cat Williams, but
forgive me, that's not funny. But he did get knocked out by the teenager. He doing all this talking how you can't beat a 10-year-old. You gonna go against a grown man? Leave, please. Okay.
What about let's talk about some. He got the beat down. That's what Juan said. Let's talk about some more heat.
Yeah.
Do you got any more? I got some.
Yeah, I got. Go ahead. I'm gonna go after you.
Arsenio Hall versus Roseanne Barr. Did you hear about that one?
Oh my!
This was the unlikely beef between the two. Started when Arsenio started cracking fat jokes about Roseanne and her husband Tom Arnold, showing off pictures of the couple in bathing suits. But the beef really started to cook when Roseanne responded, calling Arsenio America's first black nerd, a triangle-headed Eddie Murphy lookalike.
Oh, that is below the belt, but funny. That's funny.
Hold on. Andrea says, who will win a roast battle between Cat Williams or Kevin? Who will win a roast battle, Cat Williams or Kevin Hart?
I'm going with Cat Williams.
I'm going to go with Cat Williams.
I'm going Cat Williams, bro.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin can hang with Cat.
Yeah,
because he's too vicious.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
He's hood vicious.
He's vicious. He's going to go for everything. I think Kevin Hart, because he got to keep an image at this point,
right.
at this stage of his life. If they went at it right now, he couldn't go as low as Cat could go.
No, he's too high up there.
He's too high up there.
He's got too much to lose to go that far.
Exactly. Cat Williams willing to put it all on the line just to prove that he's the best. That's hilarious.
Who do you have on the conflict?
Okay, so on the conflict, most people probably don't remember this, but back in the day, Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby.
Ooh, really?
Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby. That's why you never seen them work together. So during that time, remember, Bill Cosby was skyrocketing because, again, it was almost like the Cat Williams versus Kevin Hart thing, because Bill Cosby was funny to African Americans, but he was also funnier to the Caucasian community, man.
He was cleaner.
He was clean. He never cussed. And again, what he talked about was raising kids, having kids, being like that. He's the first person I've seen, which I love Bill Cosby. He was the first person I seen did a whole 30-minute segment, bro, on the delivery room. Like, 30 minutes, and all of it was funny, of him being in the delivery room with his wife and his first child. It was hilarious. I mean, very creative.
Wow.
But then vice versa, you had Richard Pryor that was talking about his first sexual adventure, and with a bunch of F-bombs and all of that kind of stuff. But it was just two different styles of comedy. And then pretty much what happened was Bill Cosby reaches out to Richard Pryor and tells Richard, hey, you don't need to do all that cussing.
He told Eddie Murphy the same thing.
Yeah, he did the same thing to Eddie Murphy. And so you got the same response from both of them. Like, they're going to do what they're going to do in the manner they want to do it. So, yeah.
Wow.
Not in those words, ladies and gentlemen, but they said something close to that, I guess, in regards to Bill Cosby. But like you don't hear about stuff like that in the comedy world. But again, who would you take? Like, who's funnier, Bill Cosby or Richard Pryor?
Two different styles, man.
2
different styles. I mean, again, you can get and Richard Pryor had a white audience too.
Yes, he did. Absolutely.
I think it's just the different style of comedy.
Different style of comedy.
Yeah, I do. I think Bill chose the clean route and educate, and he was more about putting kids on too. Yeah, even with the Cosby Show and all that kind of stuff.
Can I say this? Let me say this. As I kind of did research and when we started talking about this, I remember me liking Richard Pryor, really loving. I still love Richard Pryor till this day. But as I got older and I started having children and living life, I find the comedy of a Kevin Hart, a Bill Cosby, the late great Bernie Mac, when he had the Bernie Mac show. I find their comedy a lot funnier now than I did when I was young and I didn't have the responsibilities that I do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I find, their comedy now, Bill Cosby, like, I'll still watch the Cosby Show.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
It is hilarious to me.
Man, when you talk about Bernie Mac, though, man.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, that's a tough act to follow. Even Steve Harvey and D.L. Hewley would Cedric Entertainment, they would sit back and watch on the Kings of Comedy of Bernie Mac. Man, he come out there.
He's a closer for a reason.
He come out of there and kill it. I mean, just nail in the coffin. It's done, one and done. And then when he switched over to the Bernie Mac show. Oh my God, that show is hilarious, man.
Listen, if anybody's listening right now, and you have not seen the Bernie Mac show, please go on YouTube or go on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix or Hulu, wherever it is. Watch the Bernie Mac show. Start at season 1, episode 1, and just begin to watch. If you have kids, you will feel his pain, and everything he talks about is hilarious, ladies and gentlemen. It is hilarious.
I tell you what, Chris, let's open up the phone lines at 512-827-9164. If anybody out there has a comedian conflict with another comedian rivalry. Give us a call at 512-827-9164 because there's a lot that we don't know. And I know most of these are black on blacks, man. With the exception of Roseanne. Man, is there beef in white comedy? I mean, I know that I remember Jay Leno and David Letterman had something, but
they did the late night comedy. Absolutely.
All right, let's pick back up on that. We got a phone call coming in. Hold on one second. Welcome to the Next 15 podcast show. This is Trey North. Who am I speaking with, and where are you calling from? Hold on. I think it's my bad. Oh. There we go. Who do we got on the line?
I can hear you now. This is Juan from the 80s Hour.
Hey, Juan.
Hey, Juan.
How you doing, Chris? How you doing, Trey?
I'm doing good, man. Do you have a comedic rivalry that you want to talk about, or
I do.
Okay, bring it on.
I do have one. This one is from a television program. Now, one was a stand-up comedian, and one was a comedic actress. They were on the same show.
Oh, okay.
This is Martin. Do you remember Martin, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Martin Lawrence.
Yep. And near the end, right about the fall or winter of 96, Tisha Campbell, she said that she had endured his vulgar attitude. She'd been sexually harassed. She was afraid of Martin Lawrence because he carried a gun with him on the set.
Wow, I never heard that.
Wow. She alleged that.
Ooh.
And that he would embarrass her at every chance he got. Wow. When they would write a bedroom scene and they had to kiss, he would make it very uncomfortable for her. Wow. So she said she was leaving. She would not be back. Wow. She sued them around February of 97. By April of 97, it was settled, and she was back for the last two episodes, and they ended it all.
Wow. Ending one of the greatest shows.
It was a great show. And and they had great camaraderie, it seemed like.
Yeah, it did.
But she said that it all started from the very beginning because he had like a crush on her or something.
Wow.
And she would not go out with him.
I mean,
I don't know if it had to do with them working together or
I thought she was
anything
married
else.
too.
But she got married.
Dwayne Martin. She married
Dwayne Martin a little bit later on in the show.
Oh,
okay.
She was still single when he was asking her out, and she was refusing him.
Well, I thought he was married though.
He could have been.
Huh.
I think he was.
Yeah.
I honestly think he was. And, but I mean, Martin has had issues since, you remember when they caught him running around in a sweatsuit down, Hollywood and Vine somewhere.
Yeah. Talking about
and then they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Was that related to drugs?
That might have been some of what. I don't think so. They didn't. The article that I read didn't mention anything about drugs.
Okay,
gotcha.
And I've never read anything associated with him about drugs. Yeah. It's just that he has a volatile attitude sometimes.
He's much more calmer these days.
Yeah, he really is.
He does seem that way now, doesn't he?
Yeah. Do you? I don't know if you watch. It was LeBron James Barbershop or something that LeBron has.
Yeah.
Him and Will Smith. They're promoting Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 3.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he didn't really talk much. It was Will Smith doing most of the talking, and Martin was kind of just laid back. You know, his vibe was kind of chill.
And maybe he's found the right medications.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that does happen.
Yeah.
You know, you can go from being way up there, you start taking medications, and you're like, you answer the questions that are being asked of you, and that's all you do. Yeah. You know, you don't add to the conversation. You just kind of sit there and take in the conversation. But didn't I thought that was interesting because that was such a good program.
Right, I know. The Martin Show was so good.
I think that would have went. It had so much more it can go. It had a long ways to go. I think it had the potential to be. Yeah. I mean, it went. How many? It went 6, right? 6 seasons.
It went 6 seasons. I think.
Yeah, 6 seasons. I think it probably would have made.
We could have did at least 10.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah, at least 10.
Easy. I mean, they
and that would have been good for all of those actors.
Oh man,
you know, on the show. Yeah. But I know, like, what is Pam's name? Tashina Arnold.
Tashina Arnold. Yeah. But she got other gigs.
She's gone on to do so many great programs. She's so funny.
Yeah,
I love her as Chris's mom on Everybody.
That show's hilarious too. By the way, hosted by Chris Rock or narrated by Chris Rock.
Right.
Yeah, who's another great comedian.
Yeah, I mean, so you have
in his own right, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, and have you seen him on Fargo?
Oh yes, absolutely.
I have not.
You haven't seen Fargo?
I have not. I got to go back. I got to watch it. People have been talking about it. I got to go watch it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my bad.
You're like, my bad for not participating.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, hey man, thank you so much for calling in, man. Did you have something else you want to add before we?
I wanted to say something. You guys mentioned Robin Williams.
Yes.
The big difference between Robin Williams and a lot of people who, you know, they considered stealing jokes.
Yeah.
Is that if he went out and told you a joke, he paid you for it.
Yeah, that's what Joe Rogan said.
And gave you credit.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I said
Joe
Rogan.
I thought you said that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
He would pay people and say, this is so-and-so's joke. And,
yep.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah, and
he was a good guy like that.
Yeah, he was a funny guy in his own right too.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you,
man. All right, guys.
We appreciate
Loving the show.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, I appreciate you guys always playing my little commercial there. I really do appreciate it, and love the program tonight.
You wanna plug anything before you go? We'll even let you do that right now, right quick. You got 30 seconds.
Well, it's Shocktober. I'm going to be talking about horror movies all month on the 80s Hour.
Nice.
And the Wrestling Wayback Podcast will be things as usual, wrestlers from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Awesome. So join in. You'll enjoy it.
Oh, thank you, man, so much for calling in.
Thanks,
we appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support.
Hey, anytime. Bye-bye, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Later. Dude, that's wild, man. I keep thinking like, so, okay, real quick, and then I get off of the late, great Robin Williams. But like for him to tell your joke and then pay you for it, like that's awesome. Don't get me wrong.
And even Joe Rogan said that, man. I thought that's commendable.
Yeah, that's awesome. But isn't it like, how do people feel like you still took my joke? Like,
I'd be mad. Yeah, but if you gave me a check, I might not.
Right. Like, I'll be mad. I just won't be as mad. I'll be like, you know what? Instead of
like I got paid twice to sell the same joke.
Exactly. What if he tells your joke better than you? Silence over the room, like, because I'm pretty sure you're talking about Robin. You're talking about Robin Williams, man.
He was so animated.
Yeah, he's such an animated character, dude. Like right now, till this day, I mean, Will Smith did a great job in Genie, but he still, to me, still doesn't beat the fictional character of Robin Williams as Genie. Like it's just sorry, like you just can't outdo that. Mrs. Doubtfire. Just not gonna outdo that type stuff, bro.
It's classic.
It's like, Peter Pan. Like you're just not gonna outdo. It's just not gonna do it. I'm sorry.
If that's Robin Williams, he could get down on. He had that childish, also personality,
Yeah.
or characteristic about him,
Yeah.
which made him so diverse in what he did. So
Yeah,
he was
and
good.
made
Mork
him-
and Mindy and all those shows.
Oh my goodness, you brought up some old ones, bro.
Yeah, I can go back there. We might
Yeah.
need to have an oldie show. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
might.
I don't know. Juan does the 80 hours. But anyway, hey, look, man, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, man, we're almost done, y'all. I mean, I hope you guys are enjoying it tonight. A little different topic, but, you know, we are, it's my show, first of all. I do what I want. I always say that. No, we like to have we like to have a variety. But when we come back, we're going to talk about some beef with shows.
Yes.
And then we're going to talk about our top. We're going to talk about our top comedians and their counterparts when we come back.
Yeah.
Right here on the Next 15. Stay locked, you guys.
Hey family, this is Christopher McAllister, Senior Pastor of Life Changers Church here in the great city of Austin, Texas. And I am so excited to invite you to come experience change. Yeah, that's right, a change. A change in the way you think, a change in what motivates you, or even a change in how you perceive church. So come visit us on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. for an hour of power, either at our physical location at 15020 North I-35 Frontage Road, Austin, Texas, 78728, or on our website at lifechangersaustin.com. Or you can even catch us on our live stream on Facebook at LCC Austin. Yeah, that's right, LCC Austin. Isn't it about time you were a part of something different? Life Changers Church, where we're changing lives starting with ourselves. We'll see you real soon.
Life Changers Church presents a 30-minute biblical study that will propel you through the rest of your week. We call it Wednesday Night Wisdom. And it's right here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. live here at LCC Austin on Facebook and on YouTube live at Life Changers Austin beginning September the 30th. It's Wednesday Night Wisdom right here from Life Changers Church, where we're changing lives starting with ourselves. Welcome back to the Next 15 podcast show. My co-host Chris McAllister. We're talking about conflict in comedy.
Yep.
And we're going to pick up with that. Listen, now, I didn't even know that there was conflict between shows.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? Because I have no idea that even shows had conflict with one another.
Man. So, of course, everybody knows the big behemoth of a show that Saturday Night Live is, right? SNL,
man,
right?
SNL, baby.
Well, now SNL, I mean, pretty much reigned supreme until this one show came along called In Living Color.
Oh, yeah,
Okay?
the Wayans.
Yeah, the Wayans came.
Yeah.
And so what was happening also was, you know, if most people don't know that Jim Carrey was actually hired by SNL first.
What?
Right. And
Really?
He broke contract.
No.
To go, yeah, absolutely, because In Living Color was gonna give him more leeway to do some of his own jokes. He was gonna be able to write a lot of his own stuff also, and so that kind of started the beef of them going after certain talents from one another. So you had the Saturday Night Live, the behemoth, and a lot of people went to Saturday Night Live first, probably because they get paid more, and it's been
prime time TV.
Yeah,
baby.
exactly. But for real comics that was coming into the scene that was just trying to get heard, they would try to get on In Living Color.
Wow.
And then you had all of that, man, and literally you had producers that moved from Saturday Night Live to In Living Color and then vice versa. So, you know, and I was like, I didn't know any of that information. That's the back stuff that you don't hear in comedy, because you had, again, two different forms of sketch comedy. Look at Saturday Night Live, and the sketches they would do was a lot of it was political and dealing with what was going on. And then you had In Living Color that had Homie Don't Play That, yeah.
They did. So let me ask you this. I hate to put...
No, go ahead.
I hate to turn it like a race.
Come
Do
on.
you think that was the hood comedy In Living Color versus to opposed to Saturday Night Live?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But again, I don't think people didn't think that In Living Color was going to be what it was.
Yeah.
Like it literally
They
was
had Jennifer Lopez that started as a dancer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ooh, she was a fly girl.
She was a fly girl. For everybody who don't remember, Jennifer Lopez started out as a dancer.
Yep.
So that means you can start from the ground and now you're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that era was Saturday Night Live. You had In Living Color, but then what about, remember Mad TV?
Mad TV. So Mad TV came in kind of at the end of this whole thing, because remember, In Living Color was getting ready to either be canceled. I can't remember how it ended, but In Living Color was kind of going on the downhill because there was this whole new programming called Mad TV. Mad TV came out of nowhere, man. Literally.
I kind of liked it too.
Yeah, I liked it. Mad TV too, man. With Aaron Spears and all of them.
Aries. Aries Spears. Yeah, Aries Spears.
I always call him Aaron. I don't know
Aries Spears.
Aries.
Didn't they have somebody in Living Colors people migrate over there?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you had some people who left In Living Color right before the demise of In Living Color and went to Mad TV, man.
Wow.
And so, but Mad TV was never on the level to be able to really compete with Saturday Night Live. It was because, remember, when you started talking in the early 90s or the late 80s, In Living Color just came in at the right time with the right guys and ladies to actually give SNL kind of a run for their money until the behemoth networks started putting money behind SNL a lot more to kind of overdo that.
The Wayans were building a brand.
Yeah,
because then they branched off movies and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, some were corny, some were good.
The scary movie, to me, the Scary Movie franchise was best 1 and 2 when the Wayne brothers kind of had it, and then after that, when they got bought out by whoever, Fox or whoever bought it, it fell flat after that. I mean, some of this stuff was still funny, but nothing was funnier than that first one.
Let me ask you a question, since we went in between the difference between which is funnier, and this is probably, I know this might sound biased or a biased question, but black or white comedy, which one is funnier? Do you think it's funnier? Or do you or do you think there this is probably two-part. Do you think there's differences in comedy?
I'm going to say
based on race.
I'm going to say there's difference in comedy based on race. Now, because let me say this too. That's hard because there are. Let me say this, because there are some white comics who have quote unquote black jokes and are hilarious.
Give me one.
Oh my goodness!
I'll put you on spot, didn't
you did no.
Gary Owens, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's married to a black woman.
So you got Gary Owens. Okay. There's another guy by the name. His first name is Michael. I cannot get his last name, Michael. But he does that too. Like he does black jokes, but he's also married to a black woman.
Okay.
And he talks about the black culture from the white perspective. Like he comes in, and it is so funny. He comes in and he talks about how being white, he said he didn't know any of the truth about black people until he started dating his now wife. And he says it blew his mind, and he goes through that whole thing, and he's hilarious. He goes from church. He goes from household living, like the difference between a BLT at a black house and a BLT in a white house. He was he says, I'm going to say his joke, but I can't remember his name, but he says, a BLT in a White House is exactly what it is. A bacon, lettuce, and cheese. He was like, a BLT in a black house. He goes through this low joke. It's like bacon, lettuce, cheese, eggs. He's like potato salad, which he's absolutely right. You know, a BLT in my house is gonna be eggs with mayonnaise.
No tomato.
Yeah, it's gonna be tomatoes and you know, all that good stuff. Hash browns, all that's gonna be packed. Anyway, but he talks about all of that, and so, but I think that again, when you talk. Yes, there's a difference. I think it's both. Both of them are funny because two of my favorite comics, Dave Chappelle. Dave
Brilliant.
Chappelle.
Now he has a diverse audience.
Yes, he had. I think he's the. I think he has the most
diverse
audience in America.
Bigger than Kevin Hart.
Bigger. No. More diverse. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So more diverse than Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Kevin Hart is a machine. Kevin Hart is everywhere, and that's what he wants to be. Like he said, he wants to be. Yeah, he's the rock star of comedy. That's what Kevin Hart is. Like he's funny, but he's now transitioning into the mogul. Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he's getting into that. Yeah.
Yeah, that level.
That mogul status.
Yes. Dave Chappelle is, I mean, he's almost mogul himself, but like comedic wise, every comedian looks up to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Even some of the greats.
Excuse me. I heard Cat Williams say, excuse me, that he's not even funnier than Dave Chappelle. Cat Williams came out of his mouth.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He says, I know I'm not funnier than Dave Chappelle. And he named a couple of more, too.
Yeah.
But he said he knows he's not funnier than Dave
Yeah,
Chappelle.
no, everybody knows they're not funnier than Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle could take drinking water and make it funny. Like, because he's so knowledgeable. People fail to realize how educated
He's educated.
Self-educated, and he comes from an educated family.
Yeah.
And so he's so gifted in storytelling.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, that's where the greats are. That's where the Richard Pryors, the Bill Cosbys, the Jimmy Carsons, all of those guys are storytellers. The Red Fox. If you can tell a great story, then you're good. You know what I mean?
Funny.
And then it happened to be a funny story. That's Dave Chappelle. But I look at Dave Chappelle, and then I look at guys that'll be like, oh my God, I just lost his name. Why do I always do this on air? Bill Burr. Sorry.
Oh, I love Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So like, those two for me are, I think, the top. My top two.
Okay, I was gonna segue into that. Like, who are your top 5 comedians?
My top 5 would probably be, of course, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Kevin Hart. Do they have to be living?
No,
no. Of course, I'm gonna go Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, is he? Yeah, he's living.
Yeah, he's in jail, but he's living.
I don't know if that living. Nah, I was playing. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. I can tell you.
If you guys got your favorite comedians or any comments, you guys feel free to call in at 512-827-9164. We naming all these men, but what about these females? The females, the Samoas, even Monique, though they blackballed her.
Yeah, they blackballed Monique, brother. Like
they shut her off. They just had a switch and just went, boop.
What happened, Monique?
Cut her off like they cut lights off.
They didn't cut her off. They cut her off, brother.
I never hear about the females slugging it out. I don't know any. Do you know any females? Before we go to the top 5?
So yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of a lot of women, but I'm pretty sure that there are, because those
Caddy.
spots are those spots. Well, Caddy, but those spots are so limited.
Who's the hottest woman comedian? Do you think?
I mean, right now,
ever?
Ever.
See, I don't think they get enough. Well, I'm saying, like we talk about the late greats. I mean,
ever? Like, okay,
it's hard, isn't it? Because
because lady comedians. I mean, you're gonna. Oh my goodness.
Anybody out there? Listen, Juan says George Carlin, Angela Johnson.
Okay, ooh. Angela Johnson. I remember her.
I don't remember Angela Johnson. Jim Gaffigan. Yep. Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, that's his top 5. Nice.
Ladies, y'all got any women comedians?
What women comedians, like, I mean, oh my goodness. Samore, Monique.
I thought Adele Givens was pretty funny.
Oh, Adele Givens.
Remember they had the Queen of Comedy? They were good.
Oh, yeah.
And what's that, Miss Laura that used to be on Comic View?
Oh, yeah. Didn't she pass?
Yeah, I think she passed.
Yeah.
She's good. The other lady that goes up under Cat Williams, too. She's been out here a while. She's been on it for a long time.
Oh,
Luna? I think it's Luna.
Oh, yeah. Luna. The older lady. Yeah.
Luna.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness,
it's
man.
It's like a lot of female comedians are not in the limelight right now.
Yeah. And okay, let's talk about that real quick. Okay.
Lunell, that's it. Jacqueline Hammett says Lunell. That's her,
Lunell. Okay, let's talk about that. Okay. So then we don't really hear about the lady comedians. So then why do we get mad at the Tiffany Haddish?
Touche, because she's on top right now.
She would be the.
I think what it is because in Cat Williams' terms, the Lunells have been on this journey for a moment. Now, whether and even before Cat, in my opinion, she was before Cat, or I knew her before Cat.
Yeah, I did too.
But then you have Tiffany Haddish that didn't put as much. Well, they would say it didn't put as much work. Now, say Tiffany Haddish been doing this since 16 or something like that.
Yeah, she has.
But she been working and she caught a break. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some people feel like, man, you just came in here and then Hollywood pumped you up. But I mean, you obviously, if it's about money and Hollywood wants you, you have to have done something, or your worth ethic have been admirable to a degree.
Could it be because of the way she looked,
or marketable? Yeah. Cat Williams says it was because she was married to a white man, which was found out she was never married to a white man. She dated a white man. Then she said she found out it was black. She found out he was black when he took his the blood test. I don't know if that was a joke, but it's sarcasm. But I mean, I'm just saying, it's like Kevin Hart says, well, how come Cat Williams hasn't taken everybody else up under him and brought them up?
Right,
because look at Kevin Hart. He's bringing up his people.
Think about it. The Plastic Cup Boys are an entity.
Your brother Dwayne and I and our friends, we went to a Kevin Hart a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, to his stand up. His not the last tour, but the tour before that. That was in Dallas. And they featured his group, Plastic Cup Boys.
Okay.
They were hilarious. They were a great opening act before we got to Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I thought they were just hilarious, bro. I laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched on the LOL network that he has, which again, that's that mogul stuff. Like the LOL network he has they do a Plastic Cup Boys. They do a Plastic Cup Boys thing, and they are, like you said, they are hilarious, man. And they say, they say some of them write each other's jokes every once in a while. Absolutely.
Oh wow, Andrea says, Wanda Sykes. Can't forget Wanda Sykes. I like Wanda Sykes.
I do too.
Erica says Bernie Mac.
Okay.
And Jacqueline says Lunell has a YouTube blast about exactly what you guys are talking about on this show. It's good. It's good, not mean spirited, but introspective. Okay. Wanda Sykes. Now hold on, she's funny. Do you think she's funny?
I do. I think Wanda Sykes is funny. Well, okay. Let me say this. I think she's more funny now acting. I think she was funnier stand up back in the day when she was proving herself. Like, because she was willing to go and tell some of the raunchy jokes, if you will, and then of course with her being, isn't she gay, homosexual, whatever?
Yeah.
Like she's married now, but she was she was willing to go after those jokes back in the day.
Yeah.
And so she was a little bit more aggressive. That made her what she is today. And then once she got to that certain status, she kind of pumped the brakes.
Yeah. Kind of leveled off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, man, this is good. I like this episode.
Yeah, man. I told you, this is real good. Yeah. Oh, You know what? And before we leave, there's one more since we brought up Wanda Sykes.
Okay.
What about Ellen DeGeneres?
I love Ellen. I personally like her. I think
too.
she's hecka funny.
Yeah,
I think
too.
she's in that kind of in between that mogul status,
Right.
with her clothing line, with her. She also has shows. Oh God, there's that funny show. It's a game show.
Oh
where,
yeah. That game. I can't remember the name of the game show.
But yeah, it's hilarious. It's funny. To me it is. Yeah.
Man, that's funny. But yeah, Ellen is to me like Ellen is the Kevin Hart.
She does have a big audience. Her talk show and everything like that.
Yeah, Ellen is the Kevin Hart. You know, and they do stuff now to promote others. That's their thing now. Is that I've made everybody laugh. Everybody knows I'm funny. I don't have to have to remake you laugh.
Right. And then she had shows. She had Ellen's show of shows. Yeah.
Oh yeah, show of shows. That's the name of the show. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And see that type of stuff is what you don't.
Game of Game. Ellen's show, Game of Games. Oh, okay, Andrew says Game of Games.
I got you. And so, it's so much you can do. And then again, when you start talking about the greats, though, remember when you start talking about the greats in comedy, it's at the end of the day, it's preference.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny to you might not be what's funny to me.
Yeah.
You know, because some people be like, the jokes I like, even as a pastor, they be like, you like that joke? I'm like, it's hilarious.
I know.
And then it offends other people. You know what I mean?
I'm like, I'm still human.
Exactly.
I'm still human.
Exactly.
I mean, we didn't touch on it, but and I can't think of many. There are some Christian comedians like Michael Jr. that I find hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
And he has an upcoming movie. But man, it's been an interesting night, man. I kind of like this topic, man. I was scared of it.
Oh man, don't be scared of it, man.
I don't know.
Don't be scared. We are an eclectic group, man.
Yeah. Hey everybody, want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight. On this very different episode, but I'm unapologetically about it. I don't apologize for it. It's just I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. If you enjoy our show at all, please listen. The best form of advertisement is word of mouth. You can let somebody know that we're at next15podcast.com. You can find us on Spreaker on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram platform at Next15 Podcast. We would love for you guys to come and listen to the show and invite your friends and your family. We have deep topics, man. If you want to go back and catch those, go to next15podcast.com and listen to those podcasts. You can subscribe and get our newsletter and some bonus content. We really appreciate you. You'll never get back that 60 minutes, but we thank you so much for tuning in to the Next 15, and we'll catch you guys next Friday night, same time, 7 p.m., right here on Spreaker.com.